Hey everyone, Paul and Jason with Cryptoversity. Jason, what's up, my man?
Paul, how you doing today?
Doing really good. I'm excited for today's episode. I know you got some cool stuff to talk about. Guys, first off, if you find any entertainment or educational value, please like and subscribe below. And remember, we're not financial advisors, so please do your own research. Jason, we've been going back and forth the last couple of episodes talking about the market conditions, the macroeconomics, all the big picture, high level stuff. And today I wanted to kind of break it down and bring it down to simplify it a little bit and talk to you about some projects because I know during these times you say stay conservative and don't look to jump in on the FOMO and stuff, right? But you're still doing research every day, and I know you got some tricks up your sleeve when it comes to upcoming projects and metaverse projects and all that. So I just wanted to kind of pick your brain about a couple of things. And I know you said you had something exciting to talk to me about. So I figured I'd let you kind of roll with it. What do you
Yeah,
think?
that's a great idea, Paul. Let me start off by saying that if you can make a lot of money in crypto, but you can make ridiculous money in crypto if you just stay active during the bear market. For example, the guys who stuck around during the last bear market and paid attention to things like Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, and other things. The return are ridiculous. Like if you would have invested in Polygon during the last bear market, you would have turned $1 million into like $4 million, and you could just name off a million projects like that. So the key really is the money is really made in the bear market. You find projects that are being developed and they're a really good idea, and you buy them when no one's paying attention, and then you try and predict going into the next bull market what narratives are going to be hot. And if you're correct,
Mhm.
the returns are ridiculous. Like you've seen it, Paul. Like it's pretty absurd. And I have a good example of one of these projects. I've been looking at this project for the past year, and just recently I decided to get involved with it because I know they're closer to launch. And the project is called Fluff World.
Okay. Fluff World.
And let me just give you a quick idea of potential here. So it's a full blown metaverse, and they're using a real engine, much like Wilder World is. So the graphics are impressive. But right now, like their valuation is probably about where Wilder World is, which is about $25 million. But projects, metaverse projects that are on the top of the list right now, like Ape and Sandbox and Decentraland, their evaluations are about $1.5 billion.
Mhm.
That's about a 60x from where Wilder World and Fluff is. And I personally think that Wilder World and Fluff are better projects. They look better and they're just thought out well.
Yeah.
And I was researching Fluff World last night, and I was just noticing on their NFTs. So when you usually look into a project that has NFTs, there's certain things you want to look for. For example, what percentage is actually for sale? You want it to be less than 10%, because that shows that the community has faith and they're not selling.
Yeah.
While on most of Fluff World's NFTs, it's like 1 or 2% are available for sale. That's ridiculously low, even for a respected project. That's impressive. And then if you look at you would think with so few of them being for sale that their prices would be outrageous, but they are extremely cheap in consideration to what they're up against. So maybe if you go to the website, I know you had it
Yeah. I'm
pulled
just
up,
trying
right?
to pull it up now because I'm pretty excited about this, man. I know
Yeah.
that like you talked to me about Wilder World about 6 months ago, and I didn't jump in right away. I did a little bit late, but I still feel really good about my entry point. But with Fluff World, what do you think comparison to Wilder World is? What would you say as far as
I
time?
think I think getting involved in Fluff World right now is exactly the same as getting into Wild World about 8 months ago. They're close. Like they've been developing for years, and it's the McDonald brothers, and one of the brothers was the head of 3D animations at Nike, and the other brother is like some sort of AI developer, which is part of their ecosystem. That they have an AI NFT.
Okay. AI
And
NFTs have been pretty big too. I know there's a couple
yeah,
of different projects like Gala and with their fuzzles and stuff, all trying to like tap that market just because of the
yeah,
insane technology behind it, right? So
right,
I've
right.
got the website pulled up here. And let's just kind of go through it. So this is it. It's fluff.world, right? And this is
Yeah.
the first time I've been to this website. So what am I looking for here?
Yeah, so you're really looking for scroll down, or maybe I can't see maybe the box, but it should say something like the underworld or underground. If you scroll to your right there, yes, go down. Just keep going down. Yeah,
Okay, so unique
go down.
videos. Yeah,
Yeah, just go down to the collections.
cool.
So the first one you see is what they call the Fluff Bunnies, and that's their Genesis NFTs. Those are like will be the most sought after NFTs.
Okay.
And then you kind of go to the right, and you see they also have party bears. These are also really cool, and the party bears are, I think, extremely cheap on OpenSea. Like for what you're getting, I mean, if
Yeah, let me
here's the thing about Fluff, right? They're if you listen to the founders, they describe their metaverse as the next evolution in social media. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Yeah, come on, I don't know about that," but really, if you think about it, Facebook changed its name to Meta, which is short for Metaverse. So they must see this coming as well.
Mhm.
And just imagine if you can go back in time and get invested in Facebook when like nobody on earth knew about it. And it was just an idea that people couldn't wrap their head around.
Yeah.
The boroughs you're looking at right now, those are also really cheap right now. And what it is it's land. It's land within Fluff World.
Interesting. So this is their OpenSea, right? It shows all their different
Yeah.
collections and essentially what we could see here. So which one do you want me to go to first? Just
Go to the Fluff Bunnies on the bottom left, on the bottom right.
right here.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can tell by the graphics that they put a lot of time into these
Yeah,
things.
it's pretty incredible. It looks very triple A, like
Yeah. If
yeah.
you just scroll down just a little bit and hit the buy now button so we can see what percentage are actually for sale out of the 10,000. So out of the 10,000, 328 for sales. That's like 3%, 3.2%.
And what percentage of those are massively like just overpriced or unbuyable, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So interesting. So these guys are what this is essentially these right here are AI. They have utility within their game and metaverse that's upcoming.
Yeah, so it'd be much more like an avatar, but much one of the reasons why I love Wilder World and Fluff, and they're very comparable to each other. I think they actually do want to work together. Is that it's clearly not a money grab. Like for example, if you owned that Fluff Bunny, you were given the bear, and then you were given the seeker, and like they give these things away just like Wilder World does because they're trying to build out the community and not worried about the short term money grab. And I know with their coin coming out, I think it already came out, but they're doing airdrops for anybody who owns the NFTs. And so what Fluff like Wilder World is trying to do is they're trying to be extremely generous to their community for people who were early believers.
Hmm.
And I'm a real fan of that because you know how it is, Paul. You get interested in an NFT project and they give you a bunch of empty promises. It launches, you scramble to get a hold of one, and then the founders just disappear. It's like a complete money grab.
Yeah. This is interesting though, because the project actually has pretty stable activity on OpenSea considering
Yeah.
type of market that we're in right now. That's always really promising to see because you know that the price is most likely the best price that you're going to get it at right now, right?
You can look at any one of their NFTs and it's all the same thing. It's like 2 or 3% are available for sale. There's lots of activity and nobody is really trying to sell these things.
Really cool. We'll have to. I'd like to dive a little deeper, just because I wonder what the actual metaverse is and what it's all about. But fluffs are a Genesis collection of 10,000 3D programmatically generated rabbit avatars, each with their own unique features and stories to tell.
You got to remember that in these metaverses, everything's going to be an NFT from the land, the shoes, the clothes, the avatar, the buildings, the road,
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
So just try and think 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road, when these metaverses start becoming more of a trend and they actually start opening their doors, like the development is over.
Yeah.
If you're one of the holders of the Genesis NFT, like in Wilder World, it would be like the cars, the wheels, and in Fluff would be the rabbit. There's only 10,000 of those. If you got a billion people visiting these metaverses,
Yeah.
the valuation on that NFT goes up dramatically, and it's some of a prestigious play as well. I'll give you an example. So, CryptoPunks, which are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars now, and they were worth even way more a few months ago. 3 years ago, guys like me knew they existed. They were given away for free. It's just nobody understood NFTs at that point.
Yeah.
And crypto has this way of doing this thing where it'll introduce something into you, like NFTs, and then the bear market will come and people will forget about it. And then when the next bull market comes, it's just a bat to the face. Like it's face melting gains, right?
Yeah.
Like I could have bought Bored Ape Yacht Clubs when they were less than 1 ETH. And I just passed on it because I didn't understand it, right? And we were introduced in the metaverses right as this bull market was kind of dying down, and people didn't quite wrap their head around it. But I think metaverses, that narrative is going to be bigger than NFTs because it is NFTs, right? But it's so much more. It's social media, it's concerts, it's entertainment, it's communication, like it's film, music, right? So, like I said, you're making a asymmetrical bet on something like Wilder World or Fluff that has a ridiculously low evaluation compared to its competitors that are already in the billions, right?
Like you said, that's a 60x, right? And it's not unobtainable considering you look at the projects side by side next to each other and you see the advanced artwork, the advanced tokenomics and metaverse play behind Wilder World and Fluff versus some of these other projects that don't really have all that. And that's just based on their community and stuff like that. And these guys, they might be newer to the party, but they're taking it to another level. It looks like something that is,
you nailed it when you said community, Paul, right? You know how it is in crypto, especially when it comes to NFTs, and it's all about community. And you can measure how strong a project is by just visiting their community. I think Fluff has like 52,000 followers on their Twitter, and Wilder World has a little bit more. I'm a little more bullish on Wilder World, but I love Fluff. So I'm investing in both. I'm gonna keep my hands in both pies.
Yeah.
But I don't invest in Sandbox or Ape because I think they're so overvalued.
Yeah.
And people, and like the Ape metaverse, I'm sorry, but they're so far behind the curve. Like they've got nothing. And I don't know, Sandbox is cool, but I think it's more marketing than anything else. Like I don't like the graphics and I don't see the appeal. And the cool thing about Wilder World and Fluff is that they are completely decentralized. The whole ecosystem, the whole metaverse is owned by the NFT holders. So profit goes back to the NFT holders. And that at its core in crypto, the idea of decentralization is perfectly represented in these two projects. And I'm highly impressed by both. I really am.
Yeah, and I think for our viewers, it's not like we're sitting here, you're not preaching, go out and buy Fluff, go out and buy Wilder World, right? I think more so we're just giving a different side to things, what we look at on a day-to-day basis, kind of what you get your hands in and what you look at as far as metaverse projects go, because the metaverse is dangerous too, right? There's a lot of scam projects and things that appear to be like at first look, they appear to be credible, right? Like we've had things like this in the past happen, but now we've learned what to look at as far as doing a deeper dive, looking at the founders, looking at, their community, their day-to-day activities, their roadmap, everything. When all of it checks off, right? That's when you have a project that has a pretty good foundation and has room to grow and room to succeed in this, kind of dicey industry.
Yeah. What I really like for the viewer to take away from this, and you nailed it, Paul, with everything you said, absolutely correct. Well, if you're in crypto long enough, every bull market, you look backwards and say, how come I didn't see that? Like Chainlink, how did I miss Chainlink? Or how did I miss Solana? Like they're so big now. How did I not see that coming? Well, most likely you didn't see it coming because when the bear market came you started doing other things and you were just not interested. True wealth and investing happens when you're paying attention when no one else is. And fluff is just an example of what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like the
Mm.
next 1000x in your portfolio is already in the market. You're just not looking at it.
Yeah.
Fluff could easily be the next big thing, right? And most likely it will be, from my research, it looks like it's going to be something. So I'm not really like you said, we're not trying to tell people, hey, don't go out and buy these things, but you should start researching them
Yeah.
and start looking for entry points. Like if you're willing to, let's just say, buy a fluff bunny for like 2 ETH, and you're willing to sit on it for 2 years, you gotta remember, like, top NFT projects in the last bull run went from valueless 0 to hundreds of ETH,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. A little bit kind of a double-edged sword question for you, and I don't want to catch you off guard, but a lot of people, when they, based on previous experiences, they're scared, they're timid of NFT projects, right? And they do get fearful of rug pulls, and why would I buy an NFT? Because everyone's selling and buying NFTs. What advice do you give regarding that? Like, if I'm a new
Yeah,
investor and I'm just like a little scared or fearful or timid to enter, what are you
yeah.
telling me?
So the truth of the matter is, 98% of NFT projects are complete junk,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have any long-term value proposition. But much like in the early stages of the internet, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Apples were there, right? And if you just do your research and just stay in the game and really dig and find those money projects that have long-term stability and a community and a plan, and they're close to the end, they're closer to the end of development versus the beginner, there's a lot of opportunity there. And looking when you're looking into investments like that, you don't have to be very successful. You only need about 1 out of every 20 to hit, and you're extremely profitable.
Yeah.
So you're looking at asymmetrical bets that if they fail, you lose a little, but if they hit, you make a lot. And I
Yeah.
think that's within NFTs, the NFT area. That's what you're looking at. And I'll be honest with you, Paul, I'm not looking at a lot of NFTs right now. I'm really not.
Yeah.
But there's a couple that I'm super passionate about, and I think they're going to be huge hits relatively soon.
Yeah. And you were spot on about Gala over a year ago, man. I mean, they were an NFT project at its core, right? They were all about
Yeah,
gaming. Maybe one of the biggest that's ever hit crypto, I would say.
yeah.
And you got in at the right time, you got out at the right time, because these projects aren't always necessarily forever holds, because games change, economies grow and transition into other developments. Like, look at Gala now. It's not as focused on gaming, but now they're using the blockchain and the technology to develop Gala film, Gala music, and now we're kind of slowly transitioning into other parts of their ecosystem. So
That's a perfect example, Paul. I think when we got turned on to Gala, I think their Voxies were selling for like zero point 0.2 ETH, right? And it was just 3 months later that the same Voxies were selling for like 20, 30 grand.
they're blue chip, right? They did, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it only took a couple months, and this is very similar to that situation. The only thing different is that you're in a bear market. You were in a short term bear market then, but I'll be honest with you, it's very comparable to what I'm seeing. It's an ecosystem being built out that's very quiet right now, but there's already a community and a following, and they're somewhat close to start releasing the product.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Them and Wilder World. That's big. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna dive in a lot more after we get off here and go get myself a bunny.
There you go.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing the info, guys. Thank you for being here. We will be at it again tomorrow, and we'll talk to you soon, Jason.
Oh, as always, I appreciate you, brother. You have a good one.
All right, you too.